Danny Kiranos. Wait, did I say that right?
You did. Nailed it.
Okay. Danny Kiranos, a.k.a. Amigo the Devil. Welcome to Livewire.
Thank you for having us. Me in general.
Yeah?
Me representing the whole team behind me.
The entity that is Amigo the Devil?
Yeah.
Where are you at right now? Where are we catching up with you?
I'm in Central Texas in the Hill Country, about an hour west of Austin.
Oh, nice. So. Okay. Where did you grow up? What kind of music did you listen to as a kid?
Well, I was born and raised in Miami, which is much different than the world I live in now.
Uh-huh.
And I mainly listened to, I guess, heavier genres, to be honest. I mean, I started, my cousin would show me some thrash bands, and then I just wanted it to get more and more extreme because it was the era of shock value for my age group.
Uh-huh.
And then I realized how annoying most of that was. So I kind of pared it back and started rediscovering genres that I had sworn off forever. But across the board, I feel very, very fortunate to have grown up with varied musical, like a little bowl to pick from because we didn't have that much in Miami.
Yeah, I used to live in Miami, and I have to say the death metal scene there was fairly, in South Beach anyway, fairly minuscule.
South Beach,
didn't see
really known for its just doom and darkness.
No, did not see it. Although one thing that I'm not somebody who has a deep familiarity with a lot of very heavy music, but what I hear from a lot of people who know it is that it's very complicated musically, and a lot of the people who are really good at it have a really extensive musical training or have taught themselves how to do it because it's not as easy as it might sound.
Oh, I mean, that is true. There's truth behind that. The musicality behind the actual instrumentation and the composition of it is extensive. And it is very complicated to play, depending on what genre of metal you are talking about. But for the most part, I feel like every single genre you're going to dive into, there is a form of it that is complicated within itself.
Sure.
So I think if there's something you don't understand, it's going to be harder to put into perspective of your own playing. So, I mean, even for me, there's a lot of the fingerstyle stuff on the acoustic that's so far from what I play that I look at it, I'm like, I have no idea what you're doing. Mm-hmm. But then somebody else who grew up with that is going, no, this is easy. I don't get what you're doing.
Right. I saw something on Twitter about like the cave show that you played, and I thought that was just a euphemism or like just a club you played at called the Cave, but it looked like you were literally standing in a cave. Well, what was that?
8 stories underground.
Whoa.
It was amazing. My favorite part was hauling all of the gear up and down 8 flights of stairs.
Oh man.
When I had the idea, I hadn't thought of that part, but that's okay.
Was that out there in Hill Country somewhere? Oh, I'm sorry, Elena.
It was. Oh, sorry, I didn't want to interrupt anybody.
It was in Hill Country, one of those great Hill Country caves.
Oh, yeah.
And did you have any bat friends that joined you for the...
We had one small one who was kind of just sleeping and hanging out.
Oh.
And every time we'd walk by it was just like, I won't touch it. Other than that, nothing. And it was incredible because... especially on tour, I go to caves a lot. I love caves. But I've never had one to myself. And that was kind of the premise of the whole situation was they kind of just gave us the keys and said, hey, do your thing. I was like, oh, I don't know. You shouldn't tell me that ever.
How are the acoustics down there?
We chose the location we chose to film because that was the most well-rounded on the acoustic side. Some areas that were maybe more visually stunning were way, way too saturated in the actual, verb and all that.
I see.
So it was a give and take of trying to find something that was visually appealing against what sounded manageable, at least.
Speaking of like kind of genres of music and the kind of music you play, I was reading a review of this new album, and they described it kind of in passing as metal and punk infused folk. And I don't know if I'd ever heard of that exact combo. Like, did you invent that genre?
No. I'm not gonna lie, I don't even necessarily feel like
is that a bad description?
I belong in.
How would you describe
only
what you do?
Because I think it's stumbling through storytelling and just trying to figure out a sonic landscape for the stories that I kind of start writing, because the instrumentation is so varied from song to song, and it's very inconsistent, and I'm the first one to admit that. There are bands that are folk punk, for example, and there are other folk-esque genres that infuse more of that punk element. So it feels like I'm cheating to include myself in that when there are people doing it appropriately. I'm genuinely scattered all the time. And every record I decide, hey, I really want to try something else. I want to try, let's add tuba this time, right? Let's figure out how to just break glasses and make percussion out of it. Let's build percussion out of destruction.
I love stumbling through storytelling. I think that's an amazing genre of music, or scattered storytelling. I think that sounds really cool too.
I think your Twitter bio has a very nice line as well, helping dark hearts tell their love story one song at a time.
Yes.
I mean, that's...
I feel like that's been up there for so long, but I'm okay with it.
It's pretty succinct and kind of gives you an idea in your mind of what we might be hearing. I understand. I haven't seen it myself, but I was told by one of our producers that there's a whole section of your website that's dedicated to fan tattoos,
Which is mind-blowing.
About your music. How did that start happening, and how does that feel to you to be making music and then having people permanently altering their bodies to that tune?
At first, it was a completely foreign concept that I didn't really know how to process. But it was exciting. And then, 5th, 6th, 7th, 30th tattoo, it remained the same feeling. And then now, I think the folder has 1,500 or something.
Holy cannoli.
Oh my gosh.
And it still feels exactly like the first one.
Is there a particular one that, it's hard to pick, obviously, but is there one that kind of comes to mind when you think of of creativity around people getting tattoos based on your stuff?
Okay.
No problem. That's why we tape these things. Take as much time as you need. I'm just going to be getting a tattoo real quick, so.
Yeah.
Now, let me just do this. Let me check in with Molly, because maybe we need another clap for syncing up if the file stopped. I'm not sure. Molly, what do you think? Okay, cool. Let's just do another clap if everybody's cool with that.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1. And let me just I was asking you, I'll just re-ask this question and maybe we'll be able to piece this all back together, but is there a particular, of all of these tattoos that folks have gotten based on your music and stuff, is there one that comes to mind that seems particularly creative?
There's been an incredible range of creativity. I think the two that come to mind initially are portraits of my actual face on their hands.
Whoa.
On their hands.
On their hand, yeah. There's two of those that I've seen so far.
Whoa.
We do have a lot of little facial tattoos of the logo
that
I've seen.
Wow.
We never get that in public radio. There are zero hand tattoos of me or Elena.
You never know.
Yeah, right.
There's a lot of people out there.
Yeah, I guess it's possible. We just don't have a website set up for it. I wanted to ask you, Danny, about making the kind of music that you make, and there is, I'll just say there's a darkness around it that's intentional, if I understand right, or a way of looking at the macabre, and I know that you're really into murderabilia. You have all kinds of stuff that's little artifacts from kind of famous murder cases and things like that. And for people that don't necessarily know a lot about that world or haven't listened to a lot of that music and might think, oh, this is all just a very dark stuff. Can you kind of explain it to those folks and kind of what you're doing and what's behind it all?
I think that it's changed over the years within myself. When I was young, it definitely started as an intrigue into the dark aspect of it, sort of that macabre fascination, like anybody would with an extreme horror film or something like that. Over the years, the more I read about it, the more I started writing about it, I realized that it's a topic that is so directly linked to mental health, for example, but so disregarded from it at the same time because of the extreme nature of it, that the fascination grew from this just dark excitement, essentially, of something taboo,
Right.
to something intriguing of what happens, what breaks that link, what is the cause of these horrible situations. And the collecting was somewhat of an instinctual growth because I've always loved collecting things. So when I realized that these artifacts and these pieces of true crime were something that I could own, it was instinctual to just start collecting them. And then I realized that's not necessarily my purpose or fascination anymore. And through that process of growth and learning and investigation and exploration, essentially, I realized that my true core with it is making it okay to talk about these things so that nobody has to keep it inside. And kind of, I realize that's how it builds for a lot of people. And I don't mean violence. I mean, not just violence. I mean, just in general, just depression, just feeling insecure about yourself, just feeling anything that can extend to a different form. There's nothing wrong with talking about it or feeling it. And so I ended up. Here we go. Yeah.
Oh, no sweat. Good catch. Okay, let's do another clap real quick, just so we got this all on. So here we go. 3, 2, and 1. And I'll just kind of like rewind just a little bit. You were talking about your relationship with some of this stuff, particularly maybe these physical artifacts, and even the nature of your work has been evolving over the years. I noticed, I was watching an interview you did with Consequence of Sound, and you were saying that this new album, that you were looking to make something that was a little bit, by your own description, a little bit less sort of grim and aggressive than some of your previous work. And I think you can hear that if you listen to this new album, Born Against. Is that just because of kind of like the personal journey you've been on?
A lot of it has to do with the personal journey, and I'd say the other, I don't know if it's the majority, but a good half and half. Once you sing about enough true crime, you realize a lot of it is just the same. And then you start realizing that there are things that are more dangerous than individual human beings, and things like depression and addiction genuinely are, they have a much higher kill rate than these, weirdo serial killer fools. And that's kind of caught my fascination, especially with my personal experience with all of that. And it's fun. It's just a fun topic to explore the broken parts of yourself. And then it's nice when other people come out. I don't mean nice as in like, I'm glad you're dealing with it too, but nice as in, hey, don't feel alone. Like, we got this together. We're all in this together. We're okay.
Yeah.
And what a lot of people don't realize is, you have these extreme cases of essentially reaction to a feeling, and somebody a little further down the line is feeling that same exact emotion but reacting to it differently and judging this person for reacting that way. When both of you are reacting to the same exact emotion, just on completely different ends of the spectrum. So we're all just people. We're all just trying to get by. That's what it is.
This is Livewire. We're talking to Danny Caranos, a.k.a. Amigo the Devil. We're going to hear a song here. What are you going to play?
There's a song, I think 24K Casket would be a fun one to play.
Okay. Anything about the history of this song or any particular reason why you picked it?
First, it's a banjo song, so it's fun. It's one of the not depressing ones, and I feel like maybe an uplifting moment would be okay.
Sure. We'll take it where we can get it. All right.
Yeah.
Well, let's hear it then. This is Amigo the Devil here on Livewire.
Let's see, are you? Yup. Well, let's see. Everyone says money can't buy happiness, and so far in my life I'll agree. But it seems a lot more comfortable to cry in a Lamborghini. But one day while you're driving down the 5, the earth splits open and all of us die. At least we're all together, and this time it's forever. And all we have to pass the time is you and them and me and the reckoning! You might get to sleep forever in a 24-karat casket, covered up in dirt from a place you can't pronounce. Headstone so small, no one will ever read. And one thing you'll never die with is dignity. Most of life we're sitting on a bench, and we know the bird above us is gonna, Well, some days we move, but others we just yell, just go ahead, everyone else does. And I think I'd rather have bad luck than have no luck at all. I'd rather be alive than half a dozen feet below. And things will never go back to the way they were before, 'cause I don't think this world wants us on it anymore. I don't think this world wants us on it anymore. And subtlety is not everyone's cup of tea. Some of us prefer a little whiskey, but it's your life. You're the only one that has to lose it. So we might never get to see inside a 24-karat casket. Hopefully we had a damn good life while we had it, trying to be good to everybody that we meet. And hopefully, if we're lucky, we'll die with dignity.
That is Amigo the Devil here on the Livewire Hootenanny.
Oh, my Lord.
Off of the album Born Against. My goodness, that was just what we needed, man. Thank you so much.
Oh, I love that song. I love it.
I appreciate you.
Yeah. Coming to a stage or maybe a cave near you. very soon.
Hopefully more caves. Always caves. Caves and
Right,
haunted
man.
houses.
Well, listen, congrats on the new album. Again, it's Born Against. Everybody go check out Amigo the Devil. Thanks, Danny. Appreciate you, man.
Thank you so much.
Fun.
Banjo chops, too. Major banjo chops.